Okay, English 101. We are done with Plato, and there's only a couple of weeks left in the semester. Um, paper one, two, and three were where you had to. In papers one, two, and three, I had you guys. I gave for paper one and two, I gave you guys three options, and you picked one, and you wrote a paper about it. And paper three was the paper that had a little bit of research in it. But all three of those papers were about Plato. Um, Plato was the thing I picked to do this semester because it's something I'm interested in, and I like I one of the things about being a university professor instead of a high school teacher is I get to pick my books for my students, and I decided to follow things that I'm actually interested in because I think that works better than when I teach things that somebody made me teach or insisted that I teach. But with the last couple of weeks of class here, paper one, two, and three were all about Plato. But if you check the syllabus and you check the assignments, you know that there's a fourth paper. The fourth paper is the same for everybody at BMCC enrolled in 101 this semester. So if you had a different teacher than me in 101 right now, you'd be studying these next two philosophers. Um, the the way what the 101 final exam works like this. You're going to have, and I'll get to you with some more details about it later, but the basic idea is you're going to be given, is there's two things. I had you guys read Plato. Then I gave you an essay topic that was like, pick three things, write an essay about one of the things. That's exactly what paper four is going to be like. The reason I set it up like that was to prepare you for paper four. Um, paper four, which is also known as the departmental final exam. Um, the philosophers are not picked by me, they're picked by a committee on the English department. Um, and so they have picked Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I actually forget the name of the other person. Let me see if I can look it up really quick. They have picked Ralph Waldo Emerson and I can't see somebody else. Ralph Waldo Emerson and Oliver Berkman. All right, so it's Ralph Waldo Emerson and Oliver Berkman are the two final philosophers. Now, I've been preparing. I knew this was coming, right? This is how it works every semester, and so I tried to kind of prepare you guys for this by um, giving you like a similar kind of format. Like, let's study Plato, and then you get three questions about Plato, pick one, answer the question. And of course, the point of answering the question is to give me your own opinion, but you're going to quote Plato along the way. And quoting Plato along the way means quoting and discussing and giving examples and saying how much you agree or disagree and why. Paper four is the same thing. It's the same thing. There's a couple of things that make paper four slightly different. Instead of just Plato, you're given two philosophers now. So you're going to have Emerson and Berkman. Um, you will need, this is really important, the thing I'm about to say next. So really write this down. You probably don't even have a piece of paper out. Get a piece of paper out. Write this down. For paper four, just like for paper one and two, you're going to be given a question and you're three questions. You're going to pick one that you like. You're going to write an essay answering it. For paper one and two, you had to quote Plato. You don't quote Plato, you're not passing. For paper four, you got to quote Emerson and Berkman. Let me say that one more time. Emerson and Berkman. We've been working our way here, right? Because paper one and two, you had to quote Plato. It's your opinion, your paper, your response to the question, your opinion, but you got to quote and discuss Plato in there. For paper three, I kind of leveled you guys up a bit by saying, okay, you're going to quote Plato, but you're also going to do research and quote some other people in your paper. And you had to quote two bits of research, a fact, unusual fact or opinion that you found, and quote. And of course, quoting, again, every time I say quoting, I really mean, it's quoting and putting in your own words and giving examples and agreeing, disagreeing, all that stuff. So that means in paper three, you quoted three people. Well, in paper four, you got to quote two people. You got to quote Emerson and you got to quote Berkman. Don't quote Plato. I mean, you could. No, it's not illegal to quote Plato, but nobody's looking for it, so you don't need to do it. You can go through all of paper four. You don't have to even mention Plato once. Not important for paper four. Paper four is a whole separate thing. Now, if you want to quote Plato, I guess you could, but there's no reason why you have to. What you do absolutely positively have to do is in your paper four essay, where you were given three options, pick one that you like. You're given three options, pick one that you like, and again, it's your opinion. Every paragraph has got to have your opinion in it. But along the way, you got to quote Emerson at least once, and you got to quote Berkman at least once. And that's it. That's the assignment. It's the only paper you don't do a second draft of. And it's Yeah, okay. And there's some other things about it I'll tell you about later. But that's basically that. You're gonna go on you're gonna do it on Blackboard. You're gonna go on Blackboard and you're gonna click a thing and do it, and there'll be some more details about that. But that's basically what paper four, also known as the departmental final, is like, and it's worth 30% of your grade. So it is possible to fail paper four and still pass the class, although it's tough. I guess if you had an A on paper one, an A on paper two, an A on paper. Oh no, you can fail the final and still pass the class. It's just man, I can't do the math in my head, but it's not like it's not one of these classes where if you fail the final, you fail the whole class. It's not like that. So it's a little easier to handle. Obviously, doing good work on paper one, two, and three is going to make it easier to pass the class. If you have any trouble with paper four, and the best way to do good work on paper one, two, and three is to send revisions on paper one, two, and three. Okay, looking good. So with that in mind, what I want to do for the next little stretch here is start going over Emerson. How am I going to go over Emerson? Line by fucking line, like I always do. You've gotten used to this with Plato, and I'm sure this will come as absolutely no shock to you. So let's take a look at Emerson. You'll notice if you look at the Emerson and the Emerson is shorter. It's 4 pages, and the Berkman's like 7. But the Emerson is harder because Emerson is old-fashioned. It's really, I think Emerson's probably easier than Plato, although not a lot easier. It's similar in difficulty level to the Plato. It's not going to like blow your mind or ruin your life or anything. All right, and I would like to start with the hard one in case I run out of time. So let's jump in with Emerson, and then Berkman's going to be a nice, easy way to end the semester. All right, let's take a look at what we got. So here is the Ralph Waldo Emerson. Let's see what we're looking at here. Sorry, I got distracted for a hot second. Okay, everything's fine. So Ralph Waldo Emerson, it's called Self-Reliance. It's from an essay called Self-Reliance, and it starts out with a little Latin quote here, and if you look down at the footnote at the bottom, it says, "Do not seek outside yourself." Do not seek outside yourself. That's a little introduction that he put onto the essay. By the way, students love to do that. It's called an epigraph, and it's when you put someone's quote at the top of your paper. Students love to do it. It doesn't count as research, and it doesn't count as a proper quote. It's more like decoration. It's like something you put on the book cover. It's cute, but in academics, Emerson puts that at the top to be like, here's a cute little introduction to my essay. It's the subject I'm going to be speaking on, but you don't want to do that in your papers because if you slap a quote up at the top, a lot of students will slap the quote at the top and then they never mention it again or discuss it. And of course, you guys know that quoting involves quoting and putting your own words and examples and how much do you agree or disagree and why. And he's not doing any of that. But the epigraph, the Latin there, do not seek outside yourself. This is something we can handle. We can do this. That was what Plato was about. Answers are in here, in your mind. You know the right answer. Socrates says at one point, I'm sure you'll remember this, but will you? I don't know. Socrates says at one point to Phaedrus, what is good and what is not good, Phaedrus? Need we ask anyone to tell us these things? Because he says, you fundamentally know in here. We talked about this in class. Like, a lot of you guys don't need to learn right from wrong. You know right from wrong. It's just that you often, my students know plagiarism is wrong. They just choose to do it anyway. But it's right in here. You don't need to seek outside yourself for the answer. You don't have to go learn why plagiarism is wrong. You know why it's wrong. You have a good instinct for these things. It's in here. Answer's in here. That's the idea. He also has another epigraph. It's a little poetry. Man is his own star, and the soul that can render an honest and perfect man commands all light, all influence, all fate. Nothing to him falls early or too late. Our acts our angels are, or good or ill, are fatal shadows that walk by us still. Okay, I don't like that quote, and I don't care about that quote, and that's stupid. And I would not recommend quoting that in your paper. Again, it's an epigraph. That's really not what you want to do. But the idea that man is his own star, that you don't need other people. The star is the thing, like the universe, the solar system rotates around the sun, but you are your own sun. You don't need to rotate around somebody else. You are your own sun. And you don't need other people because the answers, they're in here. All right, this is going to get complicated fast, but I'll pick it up in the next video and we'll see how it goes.